Slimer MTG. Today we will open a Dungeons and Dragons Adventures in the Forgotten Realms pre-release pack. So sit back, enjoy, and relax. Let's start. Okay, alright. Okay, so here are the dungeons. Dungeon of the Mad Mage, Lost Mine of Fandelver, Tomb of Annihilation. Let's start. Earth Cult Elemental, Creature Elemental, Siege Monster. When Earth Cult Elemental enters the battlefield, roll a 20-sided die, 1 to 9. Each player sacrifices a permanent, 10 to 19. Each opponent sacrifices a permanent, 20. Each opponent sacrifices 2 permanents. Power 6, Toughness 6. Dwarf Hold Champion, Creature, Dwarf Warrior. As long as Dwarf Hold Champion is equipped, it gets +0/+2. Courage is neither a shield nor an axe, but the will to wield both in defense of the innocent. Power 3, Toughness 1. Arcane Investigator, Creature, Elf Wizard. Search the room. 5 generic mana, 1 blue mana. Roll a 20-sided die, 1 to 9. Draw a card, 10 to 20. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Power 2, Toughness 1. You come to the Null Camp. Instant. Choose 1. Intimidate them. Up to 2 target creatures get blocked this turn. Fend them off. Target creature gets +3/+1 until end of turn. Easy now, everyone. I'll take care of this. Nadar. Herald of Hadar, Creature, Human Warlock. Circle of Death, 5 generic mana, 1 black mana. Roll a 20-sided die, 1 to 9. Each opponent loses 2 life, 10 to 19. Each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life, 20. Each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Create 2 treasure tokens. Power 4, toughness 4. Spoils of the Hunt. Instant. Target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn for each mana from a treasure token that was spent to cast this spell. Then that creature deals damage equal to its power to target creature and opponent controls. Every coin helps rebuild the town they destroyed. Delver's Torch. Artifact. Equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Whenever equipped creature attacks, venture into the dungeon. Equipped tree. Not all of us have dark vision, okay? Arborea Pegasus. Creature Pegasus. Flying. When Arborea Pegasus enters the battlefield, target creature gets +1/+1 and gains flying until end of turn. The noble steeds of the elven gods can sometimes be persuaded to allow mere mortals on their backs. Power 2, toughness 3. Neverwinter Dryad. Creature Dryad. 2 generic mana. Sacrifice Neverwinter Dryad. Search your library for a basic forest card. Put it into the battlefield tap, then shuffle. Its life force entwined with its tree. A dryad is an elusive and solitary being that wishes only to be left alone. Power 1, toughness 1. Clattering Skeletons. Creature Skeleton. When Clattering Skeleton dies, venture into the dungeon. Power 4, toughness 3. Power of Persuasion. Sorcery. Choose target creature an opponent controls, then roll a 20-sided die. 1 to 9. Return it to its owner's hand. 10 to 19. Its owner puts it on the top or bottom of their library. 20. Gain control of it until the end of your next turn. Choose your weapon. Instant. Choose 1. 2 weapon fighting. Double target creature's power and toughness until end of turn. Archery. The spell deals 5 damage to target creature with flying. Move it, Paris, or I'll pick one for you. Elowick. Timblestrom. Battle Cry Goblin. Creature Goblin. 1 generic mana, 1 red mana. Goblins you control get +1/+0 and gain haste until end of turn. Pack Tactics. Whenever Battle Cry Goblin attacks, if you attack with creatures with total power 6 or greater this combat, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token that's tapped and attacking. Power 2, toughness 2. Gelatinous Cube. Creature Ooze. Engulf. When Gelatinous Cube enters the battlefield, exile target non-ooze creature and opponent controls until Gelatinous Cube leaves the battlefield. Dissolve. X generic mana, 1 black mana. Put target creature card with mana value X exiled with Gelatinous Cube into its owner's graveyard. Power 4, Toughness 3. Forest. Lost Mine of Phandelver. Eyes of the Beholder. Instant. Target creature gets -11/-11 until end of turn. In the end, there was nothing beautiful to be seen. Spiked Pit Trap. Artifact. Flash. 5 generic mana. Tap. Sacrifice Spiked Pit Trap. Choose target creature, then roll a 20-sided die. 1 to 9. Spiked Pit Trap deals 5 damage to target creature. 10 to 20. Spiked Pit Trap deals 5 damage to the creature. Create a treasure token. You find the villain's lair. Instant. Choose 1. Foil their scheme. Counter target spell. Learn their secrets. Draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. Give me just a moment. I almost have it. Hobgoblin Captain. Creature. Goblin Barbarian. Pack Tactics. Whenever Hobgoblin Captain attacks, if you attack with creatures with total power 6 or greater this combat, Hobgoblin Captain gains first strike until end of turn. Hobgoblins do not fear death, for those who fall in battle have gained glory eternal. Power 3, Toughness 1. Leather Armor. Artifact. Equipment. Equipped creature gets +0/+1 and has ward 1. Equip 0. Activate only once each turn. Lightweight, flexible, and protective. Precipitous Drop. Enchantment. Aura. Enchant creature. When Precipitous Drop enters the battlefield, venture into the dungeon. Enchanted creature gets -2/-2. It gets -5/-5 instead, as long as you've completed a dungeon. Ultra Guard Ranger. Creature. Human Elf Ranger. Reach. When Ultra Guard Ranger enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. Since the fall of Elturel, they've walked the Sword Coast from Tetir to Icewind Dale, eyes always on their prey. Power 4, Toughness 1. Neverwinter Dryad. Creature. Dryad. 2 generic mana. Sacrifice Neverwinter Dryad. Search your library for a basic forest card, put it into the battlefield tap, and then shuffle. Its life force entwined with its a tree. A Dryad is an elusive and solitary being that wishes only to be left alone. Power 1, Toughness 1. Clattering Skeletons. Creature skeleton. When Clattering Skeleton dies, venture into the dungeon. Those who die in the dungeon become its guardians. Power 4, Toughness 3. Ingenious Myth. Creature, Human Artificer. When Ingenious Myth enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Whenever one or more artifacts enter the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Ingenious Myth. This ability triggers only once each turn. Power 1, Toughness 1. Warlock class. Enchantment class. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, each opponent loses 1 life. Level 2. When this class becomes level 2, look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. Level 3. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses life equal to the life they lost this turn. You meet in a tavern. Sorcery. Choose one. Form a party. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal any number of creature cards from among them and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Start a brawl. Creatures you control get +2/+2 until end of turn. Sorcerer class. When Sorcerer class enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. Level 2. Creatures you control have tap. Add blue or red mana. Spend this mana only to cast an instant or sorcery spell or to gain a class level. Level 3. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, that spell deals damage to each opponent equal to the number of instant and sorcery spells you've cast this turn. Black Dragon. Creature Dragon. Flying. Acid Breath. When Black Dragon enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls gets -3/-3 until end of turn. Black Dragons revel in the collapse of humanoid kingdoms. Power 4, Toughness 4. Swamp. As a plague ravages the world above, you've made your way into the Underdark in search of fungal Panakia. Plummet. Instant. Destroy target creature with flying. The dragon's noxious breath withered the forest. The whistle of 100 arrows filled the air. The ground roiled as if shaken by an earthquake. The tyrant fell from the sky. Eyes of the Beholder. Instant. Target creature gets -11/-11 until end of turn. In the end, there was nothing beautiful to be seen. Circle of the Moon Druid. Creature, human elf druid. Bear form. As long as it's your turn, Circle of the Moon Druid is a bear with base power and toughness 4/2. Druids of the Circle of the Moon are fierce guardians of nature who haunt the deepest parts of the wilderness. Power 2, toughness 4. Gloomstalker. Creature, dwarf ranger. As long as you've completed a dungeon, Gloomstalker has double strike. I'll make sure you never mistake a roper for a stalagmite again. Power 2, toughness 3. Scion of Stygia. Creature, tiefling shaman. Flash. Cone of Cold. When Scion of Stygia enters the battlefield, choose target creature an opponent controls. Then roll a 20-sided die. 1 to 9. Tap target. Tap that creature. 10 to 20. Tap that creature. It doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. Dragon's Fire. Instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may reveal a dragon card from your hand or choose a dragon you control. Dragon's Fire deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If you rebuild a dragon card or chose a dragon as you cast this spell, Dragon's Fire deals damage equal to the power of that card or creature instead. Feign Death. Instant. Until end of turn, target creature gains. When this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control with a +1/+1 counter on it. A drastic measure for dangerous times. Inspiring Bard. Creature, elf bard. When Inspiring Bard enters the battlefield, choose 1. Bardic Inspiration. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Song of Rest. You gain 3 life. Wake up, my friends. There are deeds to be done and treasures to be won. Power 3, toughness 3. Celestial Unicorn. Creature, unicorn. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on Celestial Unicorn. When all hope fails, its light remains. Power 3, toughness 2. Air Cult Elemental. Creature, elemental. Flying, whirlwind. When Air Cult Elemental enters the battlefield, return up to 1 target creature to its owner's hand. Elemental evil distorts the natural elements, limiting them to aspects of destruction. Power 2, toughness 5. Blink Dog. Creature, dog. Double strike. Teleport. 3 generic mana, 1 white mana. Blink Dog faces south. Blink Dogs protect the wild places of the world, driving away evil influences. Power 1, Toughness 1. Kalain, Reclusive Painter. Legendary creature, Human Elf Bard. When Kalain Reclusive Painter enters the battlefield, create a treasure token. Other creatures you control enter the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on them for each mana from a treasure spent to cast them. Power 1, Toughness 2. Death Priest of Miracle. Creature, Tiefling Cleric. Skeletons, vampires, and zombies you control get +1/+1. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, you may pay 1. If you do, create a 1/1 black skeleton creature token. The Reaper bids you rise. Power 2, Toughness 2. Dancing Sword, Artifact, Equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+1. When equipped creature dies, you may have Dancing Sword become a 2/1 construct artifact creature with flying and ward 1. If you do, it isn't an equipment. Equip 1. Mountain, Tomb of Annihilation. Earth Cult Elemental, Creature Elemental. Siege Monster. When Earth Cult Elemental enters the battlefield, roll a 20-sided die, 1 to 9. Each player sacrifices a permanent, 10 to 19. Each opponent sacrifices a permanent, 20. Each opponent sacrifices 2 permanents. Power 6, Toughness 6. Shocking Grasp, Instant. Target creature gets -2/-0 until end of turn. Draw a card. Metal Armor, a poor choice. Plundering Barbarian, Creature, Dwarf Barbarian. When Plundering Barbarian enters the battlefield, choose 1. Smash the chest. Destroy target artifact. Pry it open. Create a treasure token. Power 2, Toughness 2. Yuan-Ti Fangblade. Creature, Snake Rogue. Death Touch. Whenever Yuan-Ti Fangblade deals combat damage to a player, venture into the dungeon. The air is sweet with the taste of your fear. Power 2, Toughness 2. Compelled Duel, Sorcery. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn, and must be blocked this turn if able. You might be 4 times my size, but I will not be ignored. Half-Elf Monk. Creature, Human Elf Monk. Vigilance. Stunning Strike, 1 generic mana. 1 white mana. Tap. Tap target creature. This fight was over the moment you picked up that clumsy cleaver of a sword. Power 1, toughness 4. Soul Knife Spy. Creature, elf rogue. Whenever Knife Spy deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. My psychic blade cuts the mind and severs thoughts. Even if you survive, you'll never remember I was here. Power 3, toughness 2. Air Cult Elemental. Creature, elemental. Flying, whirlwind. When Air Cult Elemental enters the battlefield, return up to 1 other target creature to its owner's hand. Elemental evil distorts the natural elements, limiting them to aspects of destruction. Power 2, toughness 5. Celestial Unicorn. Creature, unicorn. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on Celestial Unicorn. Power 3, toughness 2. Jaded Sellsword. Creature, dragon warrior. When Jaded Sellsword enters the battlefield, if mana from a treasure was spent to cast it, it gains first strike and haste until end of turn. Today, that'll cost you extra. Power 4, toughness 3. Demogorgon's Clutches. Sorcery. Target opponent discards 2 cards, mills 2 cards, and loses 2 life. The good will be corrupted, the kind will be devoured, and all will be dragged into the bottomless abyss. Trickster's Talisman. Artifact. Equipment. Invoke Duplicity. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has, whenever this creature does combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice Trickster's Talisman. If you do, create a token that's a copy of this creature. Equip 2 generic mana. Lady Luck, smile on me. Magic Missile. Sorcery. This spell can't be countered. Magic Missile deals 3 damage divided as you choose among 1, 2, or 3 targets. A tried and true favorite of many wizards, whatever their school. Instrument of the Bards. Legendary artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a harmony counter on Instrument of the Bards. 3 generic mana, 1 green mana. Tap. Search your library for a creature card with mana value equal to the number of harmony counters on Instrument of the Bards. Reveal it and put it into your hand. If the card is legendary, create a treasure token, then shuffle. Plains. Searching for a vanished caravan that was bound for a silvery moon. You've come to a bank of mysterious fog. Lost Mine of Phandelver. the door. Sorcery. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. That creature gains haste until end of turn and can't be blocked by walls this turn. Venture into the dungeon. We try your way. Now we do it my way. Theme: Barbarian of Baldur's Gate. Ranger's Hawk. Creature, bird, flying. 3 generic mana. Tap. Tap another untapped creature you control. Venture into the dungeon. Activate only as a sorcery. Swift Eyes to scout the way ahead. Power 1, Toughness 1. Bar the Gate. Instant. Counter target creature or a planeswalker spell. Venture into the dungeon. The path is closed to you. Brazen Dwarf. Creature, dwarf shaman. Whenever you roll 1 or more dice, Brazen Dwarf deals 1 damage to each opponent. My grandmother saved the life of a brass dragon, and in return, she was given a glimpse of the fire in its heart. A glimpse she passed down to me. Power 1, Toughness 3. Shambling Ghast. Creature, zombie. When Shambling Ghast dies, choose 1. Brave the Stench. Target creature an opponent controls gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Search the body. Create a treasure token. Power 1, Toughness 1. Scaled Herbalist. Creature, Lizard Druid. Tap. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. I could help you, or I could eat you for lunch. I haven't decided yet. Power 1, Toughness 3. Gloomstalker. Creature, dwarf ranger. As long as you've completed a dungeon, Gloomstalker has double strike. I'll make sure you never mistake a roper for a stalagmite again. Power 2, Toughness 3. Underdark Basilisk. Creature, Basilisk. Death Touch. Power 1, Toughness 2. Jaded Sellsword. Creature, Dragon Warrior. When Jaded Sellsword enters the battlefield, if mana from a treasure was spent to cast it, it gains first strike and haste until end of turn. Today, that'll cost you extra. Power 4, Toughness 3. Guild Thief. Creature, Orc Rogue. Whenever Guild Thief deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Conning action. 3 generic mana, 1 blue mana. Guild Thief can be blocked this turn. She puts some coin in the guild's pocket and sends a message at the same time. Power 1, Toughness 1. Dragon's Disciple. Creature, Human Monk. As Dragon's Disciple enters the battlefield, you may reveal a dragon card from your hand. If you do, Or if you control a dragon, Dragon's Disciple enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it. Dragons you control have Ward 1. Skullport Merchant. Creature, Dwarf, Citizen. When Skullport Merchant enters the battlefield, create a treasure token. 1 generic mana, 1 black mana. Sacrifice another creature or a treasure. Draw a card. Buy something or get out. Power 1, Toughness 4. Icing Death, Frost Tyrant. Legendary creature, Dragon. Flying, Vigilance. When Icing Death, Frost Tyrant dies, create Icing Death, Frost Tongue. A legendary white equipment artifact token with equipped creature gets +2/+0. Whenever equipped creature attacks, tap target creature defending player controls and equip 2. Power 4, Toughness 3. Precipitous Drop, Enchantment Aura. Enchant creature. When Precipitous Drop enters the battlefield, venture into the dungeon. Enchanted creature gets -2/-2. It gets -5/-5 instead, as long as you've completed a dungeon. Mountain. As you make camp near the ancient ruin, you hear the sound of drums echoing in the halls where no dwarf has lived in generations. Dog Illusion. Silver Raven, Artifact creature, Bird. Flying. When Silver Raven enters the battlefield, scry 1. Wings take flight on Whispered Wind. Power 1, Toughness 1. Dwarf Hold Champion. Creature, Dwarf Warrior. As long as Dwarf Hold Champion is equipped, it gets +0/+2. Courage is neither a shield nor an axe, but the will to wield both in defense of the innocent. Power 3, Toughness 1. Arcane Investigator. Creature, Elf Wizard. Search the room. 5 generic mana, 1 blue mana. Roll a 20-sided die. 1 to 9, draw a card. 10 to 20. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Power 2, Toughness 1. You come to the Null Camp. Instant, choose 1. Intimidate them. Up to 2 target creatures can block this turn. Fend them off. Target creature gets +3/-1 until end of turn. Easy now, everyone. I'll take care of this. Adar. Herald of Adar. Creature, Human Warlock. Circle of Death. 5 generic mana, 1 black mana. Roll a 20-sided die. 1 to 9. each opponent loses 2 life. 10 to 19. Each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. 20. Each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Create 2 treasure tokens. Power 4, toughness 4. Spoils of the Hunt. Instant. Target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn. For each mana from a treasure that was spent to cast this spell. Then that creature does damage equal to its power to target creature an opponent controls. Every coin helps rebuild the town they destroyed. Delver's Torch. Artifact. Equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Whenever equipped creature attacks, venture into the dungeon. Equip 3. Not all of us have dark vision, okay? Bullet. Creature. Beast. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Bullet. Capable of moving swiftly through even, tightly packed earth and leaping surprising distances above ground, bullets are difficult to escape once they've caught scent of prey. Power 3, toughness 3. Genie Windseer. Creature, the Genie. Flying. When the Genie Windseer enters the battlefield, roll a 20-sided die. 1 to 9, scry 1. 10 to 19, scry 2. 20, scry 3. Power 3, toughness 3. Barrowin of Clan Undur. Legendary creature, Dwarf Cleric. When Barrowin of Clan Undur enters the battlefield, venture into the dungeon. Whenever Barrowin of Clan Undur attacks, return up to 1 creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield if you've completed a dungeon. Power 3, toughness 3. Cloister Gargoyle. Artifact creature, Gargoyle. When Cloister Gargoyle enters the battlefield, venture into the dungeon. As long as you have completed a dungeon, Cloister Gargoyle gets +3/+0 and has flying. Power 0, toughness 4. Trelasara, Moon Dancer. Legendary creature, Elf Cleric. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on Trelasara, Moon Dancer, and scry 1. Elistray teaches us that we are not bound by the circumstances of our birth. We all may find beauty and light if we have the courage to seek them. Power 2, toughness 2. Wanty Madison. Creature, Snake Rogue. Wanty Madison can't be blocked as long as it's attacking alone. Whenever Wanty Madison does combat damage to a player, venture into the dungeon. Silent, slithering, sinister. Power 2, Toughness 1. Genie Windseer. Creature, Jinn. Flying. When the Genie Windseer enters the battlefield, roll a 20-sided die. 1 to 9, scry 1. 10 to 19, scry 2. 20, scry 3. Power 3, Toughness 3. Plains. You've traced the tensions in 10 towns to the dwindling reindeer populations. But what has been hunting them? Treasure. Asmodeus the Archfiend. Legendary creature, devil god. Binding contract. If you would draw a card, exile the top card of your library face down instead. 3 black mana. Draw 7 cards. 1 black mana. Return all cards exiled with Asmodeus the Archfiend to their owner's hand, and you lose that much life. Power 6, Toughness 6. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more ASMR videos. Thank you.